It's finally spring, so that means I think it's time to review the appropriately named Spring Unsprung, the next adventure in the Ever After High series. If you don't know about Ever After High, don't worry, I've covered all the episodes and specials leading up to this moment, and I've got a handy dandy playlist with all of my Ever After High reviews, so if you need to get caught up on the plot, I tried to make it as easy for you as I could, because a whole lot has happened and I don't have enough time to try to wrap it all up. Spring Unsprung is a bit of a milestone for the Ever After High franchise, as it's the first time an episode or special for the show wasn't available to watch for free on YouTube. Everything up until this moment, even now at the time of this video's release, has been completely available to watch on the Ever After High YouTube channel. But with Spring Unsprung, suddenly the only way you could watch this is by going to Netflix, and it's still that way. A confusing decision that I'll touch on later at the end of my review. For now, though, I think it's time to stop dilly-dallying with this intro, and let's dive back into the world of Ever After High. We start our story with Lizzie walking through the woods while the narrator—
Oh, is that the map book her mother, the Queen of Hearts, gave her?
Who are you? Who's that voice? Wait, what? Wait a minute, wait, what?
I'm gonna find the—
Brooke, no spoilers. Narrators never give away the story.
Yes, this adorable new little voice is actually a new narrator, and apparently the daughter of the two narrators we've always had. I guess? I don't know. I never really thought the two narrators were like a couple or anything. With how they bicker so much, it must not be that healthy of a marriage. But no, this is the introduction to the first of surprisingly many new faces for Ever After High. Brooke, Paige, the rebel narrator. Actually, this isn't really our first time seeing her either. In the last special, Throne Coming, we actually got a quick look of her appearing in the mirror behind Giles in one scene. An odd little detail to add to Throne Coming, but anyways, let's get back on track. The narrators explain that after Briar threw the storybook of legends down the well last time, it's now ended up in Wonderland. Here we get introduced to Alistair, the son of Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and Bunny Blanc, the daughter of the White Rabbit, which I'ma just say, Bunny Blanc is definitely one of EAH's least creative names.
The snake. It slithers.
It's really cool getting to see some of the parents for our Ever After High students. We already met Cerese's parents by now, but in this special we get to see Lizzie's mother, Kitty's mother, and Maddie's father. I always think it's neat seeing how classic fairy tale characters get reimagined in various different iterations. The Mad Hatter here is like freakishly tall. I really like how they have a cat shadow for the Cheshire Cat. Every time it's always so much fun seeing classic characters like these getting reimagined in new creative ways. Well, usually. Back at the school, we see our girls are celebrating a spring festival.
Black and white to represent winter.
I really love the idea of using black and white to represent winter. Usually it's just white or pale blues or pale purples. Black is a really neat contrast. It invokes the idea of the bark of trees, and it's just really pretty.
Make sure to tell everyone about the chef showdown. So exciting!
Meet our next new face for our cast, Ginger Breadhouse. She is so cute, I love her hair, her glasses are adorable. This special doesn't just introduce a ton of new characters, it also starts introducing way more variety with their body types too. Bunny is really short, Ginger's really skinny. We get a much better look at Helga and Gus Crumb, and they're generally more heavy set compared to the others. I know it's not much of a deviation from the Barbie doll type of bodies everyone has to have for the show, but seeing even just a little bit of variety is still nice. You know what? I should do a top 10 best and worst designs for Ever After High characters. Let me know if that's something you would like to see.
Hunter loves me. He loves me not.
Here's a weird thing I noticed. This is the first instance of Ashlyn being voiced by a different person. For the first 2 seasons and specials up through Throne Coming, she was voiced by Laura Bailey. From this point on, she's being voiced by Karen Strassman, who also voices all of these characters, including now Melody Piper, who was also originally voiced by Laura Bailey. Don't get me wrong, both actresses do a great job. It's just something I noticed. Fun fact, Hunter doesn't get a single line of dialogue through this whole special, which is interesting because he kinda plays a pretty big role later on. It's a weird choice. We cut to Kitty pranking some people with ice cream, and she calls up her mother to show her what she's done.
Slapstick? Really? Preschool pranks?
This is actually the beginning of a really interesting direction for Kitty's character to go through, trying to live up to your family's expectations and seemingly impossible standards. We'll touch on this more as the special goes on. For now, we're cutting back to Wonderland to see what Alistair and Bunny are up to.
Afraid that if anything happens to upset the balance, that green encircling chaos will close in and destroy Wonderland.
Well, that sounds really dire for literally never being hinted at before. It's mentioned in the books that Raven's mother, the evil queen, put a curse on Wonderland, which is why they've closed off almost all connections to it and the rest of the world. So I understand bringing up this surprisingly very important bit of lore here, where it makes sense. It just kind of feels like it's all being thrown at us all at once, though. Keep in mind, we're only a little more than 5 minutes into our special, and all of this stuff has already happened. And unfortunately, this breakneck pace for Spring Unsprung doesn't get any better as we keep going into things. Alistair and Bunny find the Storybook of Legends, realizing if it's in Wonderland, that must mean it must have come through a secret path that can also lead out of Wonderland. The two track down the other end of the wishing well, jumping in together. Oh, but let's forget about that to jump back over to the commercial element of the special. New outfits for the girls. I understand that the show really only exists to help sell dolls, and if you have a new special to air, it makes sense to have a new line of dolls to release along with it. And it's weird, despite introducing a bunch of new characters this time around, they didn't get dolls until a few months later. So yeah, we're gonna stop and give the girls their glamour shots in their new outfits, but like, did we have to literally interrupt the whole plot just for this? Maybe I'm just a little extra salty over it because it's just such a random assortment of girls. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll take more cedar dolls all day, every day. But I guess I would have just liked to see outfits that fit more with the characters who actually end up playing more major roles in this story. Also, I'ma be real, these looks aren't great, in my opinion. Except for Lizzie. Lizzie is a 10 out of 10 over there. But no, I like the black and white mixed with pops of spring colors, but their head accessories are like way too big for me. It just sort of looks like a lazy plop of flowers sitting on top of their heads. I think toning it down would have helped, like maybe a simple tiara or hair clip with a flower or floral-like design. It's all just really very busy with the black and white patterns and all of the flowers stapled all over them. These outfits aren't the worst the show has had. We'll get to it, don't you worry. Although, as a side note, I do think it's cute Kitty can just change her outfit on a whim. Anyways, the plot. Kitty's mom, as they call her, I'm just gonna call her Catty to make it easier on myself, seems like she's giving the Wonder Duo advice, but it also looks like she's up to no good.
This will give my little kitty a lesson on how to create some real chaos.
She swaps the Storybook of Legends with a disguised book of Wonderland riddles before sending the duo sliding down the cavern. At the same time, Ginger goes to Maddie for advice on getting a Wonderlandian ingredient for her cake she's making. And Maddie and Lizzie help her figure out how to locate the Wonderland well.
The well's never in the same place for more than a few minutes.
Well, that sounds important. Anyways, Ginger accidentally falls into the well just as Alistair and Bunny are falling out of it, landing the Wonderlandians in the School of Ever After, and Ginger trapped in Wonderland.
Mom!
Huh, I guess Catty can just leave Wonderland whenever she wants. Okay. It is a little weird that Alistair and Bunny's entire debacle was the fact they couldn't find a way out of Wonderland all this time, and then just Catty just does it whenever she wants, I guess.
Kitty, you gotta stop pulling all these pranks! I mean, if you're a rebel, I do what I want. And I want to be like my mom.
See, this is what I was talking about before with Kitty and her mom. Kitty tries so hard to impress her mother, to just get some sort of praise or sign of affection from her. Kitty obviously adores her mother so much and looks up to her, and yet Caddy constantly undermines her efforts and makes Kitty feel small.
Sandbox litter. Still so preschool.
This is a really unhealthy relationship dynamic between these characters, one that sadly exists in our real world. And I am very impressed that Ever After High has decided to touch on this concept. I'm more disappointed though that this ultimately doesn't really get to go anywhere. But I'm jumping ahead, we'll come back to this later.
Alistair? Yeah! I believe it!
Oh, they're all friends and it's cute! This is cute, this is a cute moment.
Dude, she's with me. I mean, standing right here with me.
Why? I hate this. Why do children's media always do this stupid? We both obviously like each other, but we're also both way too embarrassed about the idea to actually do anything about it. They'll get pissed off when others flirt with their love interest or even just show basic kindness or affection towards them, but then will adamantly refuse the idea that they care more about the other person in any way. Here, let me drop some actual life advice on you. If there's someone you like, and they show interest in you, but they also don't let you try to flirt with other people or let other people attempt to ask you out, but that person also refuses to ask you out, they just exist as a roadblock stopping other people from trying to date you or show you affection, that is not a healthy relationship dynamic. And the fact that these scenarios are always played up as comedy is not good. Children's entertainment is supposed to help lead by example for their audiences, and this is a bad example of how to handle a crush. Either get the nerve to ask them out, or leave their love life alone. Don't try to force other people out of their life because your jealous ego is that fragile. This will just domino into more unhealthy relationships down the line for you. Anyways, Alistair reveals he has the Storybook of Legends, just in time for us to transition back over to Ginger. Wait, what? Yeah, the pacing is just such a detriment to the special. Everything is happening so fast, and there's like a billion plot threads we keep randomly jumping around to. Once one plot point just starts to get interesting, we always cut to another. And unfortunately, it only gets worse from here, because right now we're only jumping between the Kitty plotline, the Ginger plotline, and the Wonder Duos' plotline. A whole lot more is gonna start kicking off here real soon.
Do not be afraid.
Who are you?
I am known as the White Knight.
Ta-da! Our final new face for the Spring Unsprung special. The White Knight was able to catch Caddy switching the books out and warns Ginger about her trick.
Any problem in Wonderland can be solved with the right riddle. We just need to find it.
Aw boy, what an interesting new challenge. I wonder how long this will take. Oh, never mind. Ginger literally figured it out within 3 seconds. See, this ties into my thing about how fast-paced this special feels. The story keeps introducing new concepts, just for it to instantly get resolved. I understand wanting to flesh out the world with lots of interesting little details, especially Wonderland, but at this speed, it all feels more superfluous rather than like actual conflict.
This is not the Storybook of Legends!
Well, that's a bummer. They all find out it's a fake, but the Wonderlandians believe Alistair and Bunny when they say that it was the Storybook of Legends at one point in time.
But what will grin where all shall weep?
Oh boy, I don't think you all are ready. It's time for my favorite thing about this whole special, Evil Apple. Yeah!
I'm the bad guy. Duh. Good luck, Apple. I don't need luck.
Oh, she's just such a brat, and I love it. A bunch of people start reading the Topsy-Turvy book, and suddenly everyone starts acting their natural opposite. Ashlyn is rude, eating meat, and is just like, generally letting herself go. Daring's a coward, Cedar's lying. I love it. And honestly, I wish these were the characters who got new outfits. Could you imagine a topsy-turvy collection of dolls? Things that highlight these characters' cursed opposite traits? Personally, I think that would be way more fun than black and white with flowers thrown all over their heads. Meanwhile, the Wonder Squad realizes that Caddy must have switched the book when she was bothering them before, something that Kitty thinks is a good thing.
You've got to learn that some jokes just aren't funny.
I would have thought my friends, my Wonderland friends, would understand me.
What an interesting conundrum. Like, Alistair is totally right. There are jokes that can go too far. When people get hurt or are put in danger, then it's always crossing a line. The interesting thing is, this is presented as an aspect of Kitty's upbringing, almost like this is a cultural thing for her. And presenting this conflict of the Royals and Rebels' point of view onto this is really cool. But once again, with Kitty, this doesn't really get to go anywhere. At least it's never explored more than this basic surface level idea. Meanwhile, Raven, Holly, Briar, and Cerise realize something is going wrong with their friends and decide to figure out a way to help them. An interesting crew to be our heroines for this adventure, especially since they haven't done anything yet, and honestly, aren't gonna do anything after this point either.
You're supposed to catch falling princesses!
But the...
I love this dynamic for villains. It just reminds me of Team Rocket, and I love it. They're so much fun. Apple ends up stealing Lizzie's book of locating the wishing well, because now that she is her natural opposite, evil Apple wants to plug up the well, cutting off all ties to the magical world and destroying Ever After. Also, while all this is happening, Ginger was making a warning pie to magically send over to Ever After High to tell the others about the book. Apple enlists evil Ashlyn and evil Hunter to help her, and the others are too late to stop them from literally plugging up the well. To make matters worse, the well moves again before the girls can try to unplug it. So that all went really south really fast, huh? Like, this is the real plot in the end. They gotta unplug the well and save Ever After. But the idea of Apple being turned evil and wanting to plug the well literally was only set up 10 minutes ago, and that was at the halfway point of the whole special.
Without wonder, our world will cease to exist.
Things are turning from bad to worse, and the girls have to figure out what's going wrong. Meanwhile, we cut back to the Wonderlandians in the Mad Hatter's tea shop, when Brooke, frustrated that the story is getting so dire for their world, steps in to warn Maddie.
Maddie, Ginger baked a message for you in a pie. It's somewhere in the tea shop. Hurry!
Thank you, young narrator.
What a fun way to incorporate the narrators and the fact Maddie can hear them back into the story. I will say, despite my gripes with the flow and the pacing of this special, I really am enjoying just how creative it's been with the world and the characters. They get Ginger's warning pie, and now it's a mad dash where everyone is trying to find the book before the magic can completely go away.
Looking good. Love the dress.
Why didn't Cedar get to be a part of the Hero Girls' team? Everyone else who got a spring Unsprung outfit becomes a heroine for the story, kinda. I imagine it's because Cedar played a big role in the Throne Coming story, but she didn't get a new doll outfit from it. So I bet they wanted to make up for that and give her a new look here, but still wanted some other characters to get to be in the spotlight. It's just weird, really mismanaged, honestly. Anyways, the Wonderlandians find the cursed riddle book, but it looks like they might be too late as the magic is quickly vanishing from the world, overcoming everyone in the end. However, it looks like the Wonderlandians might still have a chance to save everyone.
I guess it doesn't affect us because we're from Wonderland. Hey guys.
Well, you must be loving all of this.
I mean, I like a good joke. This has gone too far.
Hooray! Moral lesson of the story! Woo! Kitty confronts her mother over the cursed book, and I guess Caddy is the final boss of the special? She presents the Wonderlandians with a puzzle. Figure out how to reach her, but a wrong move will freeze you in place. And Kitty solves the puzzle in true Wonderlandian fashion.
You never said I had to go across the board. Just get to you.
Aha! This is it! This will be where Kitty confronts her mother and opens up about how underappreciated and overlooked she feels.
I'm proud of you.
No, that's not how this should resolve, no. The Cheshire family dynamic is not a healthy one. Just because Caddy shows Kitty a little bit of affection for outsmarting her, that doesn't make this family better. That doesn't make up for all the times Caddy just put Kitty down and belittled her. Kitty bends over backwards to try to impress her mother, and her mother literally stood in her way and tried to destroy Kitty's school and all her friends. This should not be a happy moment. Kitty's conclusion for her character in the special is just so disappointing. Well, anyways, the girls reverse the riddle and get the map back from Apple. And I guess this random troll is also from Wonderland or something, because he's just fine. So they just have the troll help them unplug the well and everything is saved. An incredibly rushed conclusion to top off that disappointing finale with the Cheshires.
Thank you for getting me home.
Wait, where did you come from? I thought the well was the only way in or out of Wonderland. What? Wait a minute, what? Anyways, the kids all now realize the real Storybook of Legends is still in Wonderland, but they decide to put that on the back burner to celebrate the rest of the spring fair in peace.
Kinda think I saved the show. And the fair. When are you guys gonna let me narrate?
So Spring Unsprung is complicated to talk about. While it is fun, and there are a lot of things I really love. I love seeing Wonderland on full display, I love all the new characters who get introduced, I love the topsy-turvy variants of the characters, there's a lot of creative little details in the world, but there's also a lot of things I don't love. The whole story is weirdly convoluted, and not like Wonderland does things different kind of convoluted. Like, there's just a million things happening, and despite that, it feels like the story really doesn't get to start until about halfway through the special, when Apple gets cursed. The whole special is only 45 minutes long, and that's the same length as Throne Coming, but it feels so much more rushed and haphazardly paced compared to Throne Coming. Like, it's just like, surprise, it's the spring fair. Alistair and Bunny are in trouble. This is Ginger. Alistair and Bunny find the book. Kitty's talking to her mom. Ginger wants to make a Wonderland cake. Alistair and Bunny find the well. New outfits. Ginger falls into the well. Caddy switches the book. Ginger's in Wonderland. Alistair and Bunny are in Ever After High. There's a baking competition. Apple gets cursed. Ginger needs to bake a warning pie. Kitty's pranks are going too far. Everyone else gets cursed. Kitty's friends are mad at her for siding with her mom. Why is everyone getting cursed? Gotta find out. Apple steals Lizzie's map. Ginger sends the pie. Apple wants to destroy the world. Apple plugs the well. The kids eat pies. The magic's gone. Caddy gives them a puzzle. It's all just so much. The pace is so breakneck, and it cuts constantly between Ginger getting trapped in Wonderland, the Wonder Duo getting out of Wonderland, Evil Apple trying to plug the well, the other heroes trying to figure out what's the cause of the curse, the rest of the Wonderlandians trying to find Lizzie's stolen map, Kitty's personal plot with her mother, and none of it really gels well together. The stuff with Alistair and Bunny going to Ever After and Ginger getting stuck in Wonderland takes way too long. Apple doesn't get cursed until halfway through the story, and a lot of the screen time leading up to that moment was kinda pointless. It's a lot of shots of random kids enjoying the spring fair or going on and on about their new outfits. On the other hand, after Apple gets cursed, the story blasts past everything. She gets the map, plugs the well, and the wonder goes away so quickly she barely has time to explain herself. I think the two who get shafted the most with this out-of-whack pacing and story progression is Kitty and Ginger. Ginger, despite being set up early on as an important element to the story, gets easily forgotten. Her warning pie plot feels contrived with how quickly she solves every obstacle put in her path. And her pies' message could have easily been something the Wonderlandians could have figured out on their own, specifically with Kitty. Kitty's plot with her mother's approval is already flawed, like I mentioned. Worst of all, she kind of vanishes for most of the story. After the others get mad at her for siding with her mother's prank, we don't see her again until after the well is plugged. I think it would have helped the flow of the story a lot more if Caddy told Kitty about her cursed book, and Kitty had to come to the decision herself on whether or not she wanted to let her mother's prank continue, or try to step in to help the others before it was too late. And I know if we cut out the pie plot point, that means Ginger and Brooks' parts in the story would have been cut, but I think we could have still kept them in the plot. What if Caddy tells Kitty about her cursed book? Kitty, conflicted on what she should do, ends up having a chat with the rebel narrator Brooke about what she thinks she should do. After all, it's already established that Kitty can hear the narrators too. Both Kitty and Brooke want their parents' approval, but Kitty is willing to follow along with everything her mother says, but Brooke is much more adamant about going against what her parents say, especially when it comes to narrating and not stepping into the story. It could have led to a really interesting discussion about their different points of view, and helped Kitty come to terms about when a joke goes too far, or about how getting her mother's approval shouldn't get in the way of her friends and happiness. Meanwhile, with Ginger, just have her stay in Ever After. She sees so little of Wonderland that it almost doesn't matter if she was temporarily stuck there. If Ginger stayed and participated in the baking competition, she could have ended up with Raven and the others after Apple got cursed. I mean, it's not like all these girls really did much else other than run around after Raven anyways. Adding Ginger to their lineup really wouldn't have changed much. And if we still wanted to hint at the White Knight even without Ginger being there, then we could have seen the White Knight helping Alistair and Bunny with finding their way to the well or something like that. I don't know, it's all just so much, and it all really could have been trimmed down or condensed to better aid the flow of the story and characters. I think the absolutely most disappointing thing about this special is how completely pointless Briar is. She was the one who threw the book down the well, yet once it shows back up, she doesn't even say anything. Yeah, it turns out to be a fake, but even for those few moments they all thought it was real, I would have expected something of a reaction from her. But even without that, she does nothing to help the others with their attempt to stop Apple. At least Cerise and Holly got to speak to Raven. Briar kinda just shows up and tags along with them in the background. I don't even think she gets lines of dialogue other than when she was on the Ferris wheel throughout the whole special. And like, I get it. They gave these girls new outfits, they gotta do something in the special to help sell the dolls, but it just feels so mismanaged and weirdly drags the attention regularly away from the Wonderlandians, who should be our real main focus. Maybe it would have worked better if the girls who got new outfits were all the ones who got cursed, rather than throwing Apple, Ashlyn, Hunter, and Daring randomly into the plot. I think the story really just needed to get focused down a lot more. Trim some of these superfluous characters and plot threads to better let the Wonderlandians and their character arcs shine a lot more. Ultimately, for being the first special exclusive to Netflix, it's kind of a letdown. It's the same runtime as Thronecoming, which was available to watch on Ever After High's website and on YouTube for free. But the story is way less refined than Thronecoming. The character arcs aren't nearly as well thought out, and not even the animation was that impressive, compared to Thronecoming at least. Holding Spring Unsprung behind this Netflix paywall just feels not worth it. I don't mean to be so negative, and I'm sorry if this is your favorite special from Ever After High, but I was just really not impressed with how this one turned out. From the breakneck pace, to the lackluster outfits, to the rushed, contrived conclusion, it was all sort of a letdown. I've seen Ever After High do way better than this before, even with just its regular 3-minute long episodes. Maybe Ever After High was just too ambitious with this one. They clearly wanted to cover a whole lot of characters and topics with this special. Maybe the 45-minute runtime was holding them back. Well, fortunately, that's not going to be something we'll have to worry about for the next special for Ever After High. But that's something we'll have to get to next time. I hope you'll join me then as we watch the story continue to unfold.
Prepare for trouble!
Make it double.
That one of us always tells the truth, and one of us always lies.
Meow. 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 Meow, bitch! Am I a cat?
Shout out to my $10 patrons, you're all amazing. Nako, James Dodds, Cool Duck, Andrew, Ramiel, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, G-Extreme, Classy Critic, Trey Not Dre, Sunny Shy, Azoth, Great Bar, Pentamenta, Jake, Storm, Amber, Lolith, Livid Aries, Hype Man, Luno the Evoker, Zero to Hero, Keith and Coleman, Josh the Overlander, Joseph, Scaring Crows, Blue Wiz, Danny Boy, and Holly Anderson. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. Do you like this special? I know it's kind of hard on it compared to most of my Ever After High videos, but I don't know. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with anything I say. Let me know, again, like I mentioned, do you want to see a top 10 best and worst outfits from Ever After High? Would that be a cool thing? Any and all thoughts and opinions, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to see them, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.